This is an introduction to using Vision Ministries' new InTrust online accounting system. This is the login screen that you'll encounter when you arrive at the website. Simply enter your username and password and click Login to proceed. If you've forgotten your password, you can click Forgot Password. Just enter your login, your username, and click the button Get Password. So let's proceed. We have a sample demo church set up for use so that you can play and experiment with the online accounting without actually using your own. But be sure that you log in with your own username and password when you want to enter your church information. So I'm going to log in. There are 4 activities that you can do in the system. The first one, under user account, you can change your own password and email address. Just simply click Edit at the bottom, change the password. I'm going to leave the sample one alone and click Save. Okay, in the contact area, that's where you're going to enter the name and addresses of your donors, your church members, and also the people that you're paying expenses to. Simply click this radio button, Donor, to review your existing donors. Click the Payee radio button, and the payee information will appear. So let's go back to donor. On the donors, what you will see here is a list of all of your donors. You can click on any column heading and it will resort for you. The default sort is coming up last name, first name. But if I wanted to sort by company, I could click on that and I'd be sorting by company. So click it again and it would be doing alphabetically forward. Click again, it would be doing alphabetically reverse. So I'll leave it on last name here. Now what you see is at the bottom there are buttons that control the activity that you want to do. If you want to add a new person, you simply click the Add button. And we end up with a blank form over here on the right side for you to enter the person's information. The first thing you need to do, the system defaults to a donor type of individual, and it's expecting like an individual or a family, first name and spouse, or just first name, last name of an individual and their address. If the donor is a company, then you need to drop down the donor type and change it to a company. Or if you're receiving money from another charity, you need to indicate that it's a charity and enter the information. Finally, for other non-receivable money that you receive, you can click on non-receivable and provide a reference. With the individual and company, we're going to expect a complete name and address. For a charity, we need at least the charity name. And for other non-receivable, we just need a description filled in. So let's assume we're entering an individual here. And I'm going to enter Joe Smith. If I try to save this, you'll see it's going to come up and give you a warning that the address is required. So I'm going to complete the address. We have provided on this new system a place for an email address if you know the person's email address, and also an option and you might solicit your people and ask them if they would like at the end of the year to receive their donation receipt by email. And if they would, please check this box. Okay, so we have email receipt and then email address. In this case, I'm not going to enter that. I'll just click Save. Now, Joe Smith's been added to the list. The number beside it, 0 here, indicates how many donations have been recorded in the system. And the only reason that we keep track of that is because if there is donations and you try to delete the record, it's going to tell you donations exist, you cannot delete the donor record. Okay? To edit somebody, so if I was to go to Walter here and see that this should have been Main Street, not Mate Street, just highlighting the donor record brings up their information. I can click Edit, make the appropriate change, and click Save. One other new feature is we have a merge button at the bottom. I see in here I have 3 Mary Linnells in here. So let's say I merge this one to this one, and then this one to this one, so I have just one Mary Linnell. So if I merge this one, it's not going to let me because there's no donations that exist for this record, so I don't need to merge. I can just delete that record if it's an extra record. So I can come and highlight Mary Linnell, hit delete, confirm, and they're deleted. But then I can merge these two together because they both have donations. So I want to click the one that I want to merge from first, and the second one I'm going to select is the one I'm merging into. So I recognize that the one with the company name is the correct one. So I'm going to merge so that all 3 plus 1, 4 donations reside in that one record. So I'm going to highlight Mary, and that's the merge from. I'm going to click merge. It tells me I'm merging from. Then I click on the second one, and it says to, and I see that's the right one. I click perform merge. It tells me it's completed it, and now when I look, I see that Mary has all 4 donations in one. So please feel free to use the merge or the delete. So if you have 0 records and you see you have multiple records for that person, take time to clean up your contact list. Delete the ones that don't have donations that are duplicates, and merge the ones that are duplicates. And then make any corrections. You might want to review all of your donors and just make sure the information in here is correct. To help you as well, there is a report that you can print. So if I'm on donors, if I click view report, a PDF will show up that will allow you to, if I just move this over a bit, you'll see you can download the report or you can print it and then review offline and then come back and make changes. So that's the donors. The payee works the same way. You're able to merge, you're able to enter the same way. Just click add. Let's say I had somebody who does my bookkeeping. And then I might be paying them to do, when I get to expenses, paying them for their bookkeeping services. So that's how you manage your contacts, donors and payees. Now let's look at entering your donations, your income. So I go to income. It automatically brings up the current month that we're in. We can use these buttons to move back a month or forward a month, or we can select from the calendar a specific, so I can click June. Maybe I'm only interested in looking at the first week of June, or June, the first 15 days of June, and I click refresh. It's going to bring it in. There's actually nothing there, so let me do the whole month. Refresh, and there's my June entries so far. So when you come into income, you pick a date range and hit refresh, or if you click going by month, it actually changes the date and does the refresh automatically. If you are reviewing the income, the donations that you've received, and you see a mistake, I see Walter Matt here, and as I'm reviewing it, I realize that should have been $500. I can highlight it, click edit at the bottom, and change the amount to 500 and click save. You'll notice there's a field in here that says posted to accounting. You're going to enter your donations here, and once you've finished your month, Vision Ministries is going to take the information and put it into the accounting system and reconcile your accounts and your bank, etc. And this donation will be marked with a checkbox in here saying posted to accounting at that point in time when they've done that work. After it's been posted to accounting, you will no longer be able to make any changes or to delete the information. If you find a mistake after it's been posted to accounting, you're going to have to either call or email Vision Ministries and tell them about the issue, and they will make the correction for you. This entry, you'll notice there is no add button at the bottom. So how do we add? How we add is we click the show donors first. Once we show donors, we can see a list of our contacts that we set up as donors, and the add button appears. So adding requires doing two things: picking who we want to add a donation from, and down here setting default dates. So let's say we're still working in the month of June. So I might have received donations on June the 4th. On Sunday, that money was received, but I didn't get to the bank until June the 7th with those funds. So I want to know the donation date and the deposit date. And then when I click on a donor, so I have Joan Rondell, when I click add, it fills in Joan, indicates it's a donation. I can put in the amount. Let's say it was $25. It already knows the donation date and deposit date because it took it from the defaults I set up, and I can click save. So entering a weekend's offering should be straightforward here. Setting the dates first, having the list of your donors, and then just selecting them, clicking add, entering the amount, clicking save. Once you have your donations entered, you can go back to the donation view by clicking the show donations, and there's the list. And we'll see that the new donations, the 7th, are in here. We can actually click on the heading to have them sorted. And we can also print some reports to review and just double check that we've entered everything properly. So whatever date range that we have selected up here at the top of the screen will be used in the production of the report. And the report can be done in different sort sequences. In this case, if I ask by deposit date and I click report, you'll see that it totals each deposit date. So it helps me to reconcile with the bank. Or it could be done by person, and so I get a breakdown by person for that period. One other thing, when you're entering donations, it does default to the donation account, but if you have other non-donor revenue or other income, be sure to change the account before you click save. Okay, so that's a summary of entering income. Entering expenses is virtually the same. I can go back and pick the month. Again, there's a report down here. You can ask the report by different sort sequences. So whatever you have here, it will print, and you can double check. And again, editing, when you have the list of expenses here, you can simply highlight the one you want, hit edit, and make any changes. And to enter new ones, you need to show payees first, because you always have to indicate who you're paying. So let's say I have Carolyn Jones, and she did some bookkeeping. I could highlight Carolyn, click add. It fills that information in. I must select the kind of services I just received. So there's legal and accounting fees. The date I paid her was the 21st. Check number was 144. The amount was $100, and taxes $13. And the system will automatically add that up when we save it. I can indicate notes down here, bookkeeping, and just click save. So that's entering your expenses. The system, obviously this new system has a few additional pieces of information that the old one didn't. The major thing being, we now want you to break out taxes, so we want you to enter the amount and the taxes separately. The system will calculate the total automatically. Okay, they're again making changes. You can simply edit it. You know, if I made a mistake, then this should have been check 145, and then click save. There we go, it's been saved. Reporting, again, whatever date range we have at the top is what's going to be used down here. I can get a breakdown of report by payee, by account, by date. So by payee, by account, and then when you're finished working in the system, you simply click the logout button and it'll bring you back to the login screen. So this has been a brief overview of using the new Vision Ministries InTrust online accounting system.